I'm Drew Paul Bell, and in this video, I want to talk about my 5 tips for freshman students in architecture. Okay, so the first is don't skip class. This is kind of a general college rule, but the reason why this is really important is because in studio, you're going to have a lot of work to do. There's going to be times where you feel like, oh, I got too much stuff to do, I can't go to class. And then people will skip, and then there's no immediate problem. They don't call home, right, because they're not in high school anymore. They don't let their parents know. There's no like alarms going off. They more or less get away with it, and which is cool. But then they learn that there's no consequences, and then they think, well, I can just skip class again, and then just skip class again, and it's like breaking the seal. And this is why I would always tell freshmen I was talking to, like, don't skip class, because as soon as you skip that first one, your brain begins to think that it's okay. And it's a slippery slope, because before you know it, if you're not going to class, next thing you know, it's like the day before the withdrawal date, and you're finding out that you missed a test, and now there's no way you can mathematically pass the class. Don't skip class, no matter how eluding it is. Like, don't find yourself in a position where you're thinking about skipping class to get an assignment done for studio. But also, even if you are in that position, it would be better to like go to class and, you know, take like a lower grade on your studio project than just start skipping other projects, skipping other classes. So that's just my first tidbit of a tip. Number 2, buy in to whatever your professors are telling you to do, right? Any kind of exercise, whatever that there is that they ask you to do. A lot of the stuff that they ask might seem silly, but when I was going through school, I always kind of looked at it like there was some sort of Master Yoda like lesson behind everything that they told me. And looking back, was that really true? I don't know, right? Maybe they didn't know. Maybe there's like, just try that, sure. But whether it was true or not, when you go at the projects that you have to do with that kind of attitude, it's gonna be easier for you to buy into what it is that is in front of you, because you're gonna assume that there's something to be learned. And even if like there's not something big to be learned, you can go find something to learn. And if like there's always a lesson to be learned from whatever, and it might be completely extra. It might be like not even necessarily about architecture, but it might be more about you and how you operate. If you buy in and you assume that there's value there, and you really search for it, with any little sketch, any little study that they advise you to do, any like emotional reading of the site where you make collages and stuff, it doesn't matter. Like any of those things, buy in, act like there's something there for you to learn. Even if there's not, it'll be easier to go through the process. All right, so number 3 is talk to people. The studio culture, that's the thing. Take advantage of that, because when you have other people around, you can always go bounce ideas off of people. Sometimes if you're stuck, rather than sitting at your desk or at your computer, not knowing what to do, just thinking more and more about how you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you can go talk to somebody and kind of talk it out. Just be like, yo, like, I'm not sure what to do. Like, what do you think? Just bounce ideas off of each other. Sometimes just talking about something is a way to get unstuck. And it's better at getting the ball rolling and getting that momentum going, better than just sitting there and not knowing what to do. Okay, so that's my number 3 tip, talk to people. My number 4 tip is don't talk to people, because this is really about don't over-socialize. Because another problem that happens is people they'll walk around studio and just chat and hang out, and they'll feel like, oh, I was in studio, I was here working like forever, but really they weren't working, they were just there hanging out, socializing, watching Netflix, and having a good time, but not getting work done. So there's a lot of problems that can be wrapped up in that over-socializing problem. I remember noticing in like the first few weeks of college, the people that everyone's hanging out with, they're just hanging out with that person because like they stood next to each other in line during orientation, and then they're like the only people that know each other, so you know, they're just hanging out now. But fast forward to like Thanksgiving break, and the entire network is going to get shuffled. Don't worry about it. Like don't think you have to meet like your best friend like in week 1. That only happens in the movies. So don't over socialize with friends for the sake of like your long-term vision of getting through school, and also in terms of actually getting your work done in studio. So this brings us to number 5, and my final tip is you gotta be enthusiastic about this ride. So this kind of alludes back to the Master Yoda tip. Enjoy, like, buy in. So my point with this is buy in and go see what your studio is about, or about what your school is like. Don't stress that you're not really prepared. You don't know. Nobody's ever prepared to walk in the studio for the first time. If you're going in and like you're a true freshman, if you're going in as a freshman in architecture, no matter what kind, just like be along for the ride. Let it shape you. Like, and that sounds airy-fairy, and I hate saying that shit, but like, this really does change the way that you look at things. It's not just the way that like you look at the world, because that sounds all flowery and cool, but it changes your priorities. It changes the things that you notice, your goals. It changes your work ethic, and it changes the way that you relate to people. Walk into this with an open mind. It would really annoy me when, like, I remember sitting around first year, we had to do like drawing assignments at the very beginning, and one of the teachers was talking about like, what is it that makes a dog a dog? What is its dogness? And he was kind of like, I think he was kind of being tongue-in-cheek when he was saying that stuff, but kind of not. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? What is it like when you look at a dog? Okay, we're gonna go on this tangent here, just stay with me. What happens like when you look at a dog that you know within a glance that's a dog, not a cat, right? What's the characteristic that makes it that? And then how do you draw that so that when you look at a drawing, you know that's not just random scratches of a pencil on the paper, that's a drawing of a dog, right? There's a lot of value to be had there, but I remember this one dude was talking about like, and he was talking about like, what makes a dog a dog? Like, I don't know, like it eats, it shits, it wags its tail, like what the fuck, man? And he was so close-minded to the whole idea of like thinking differently. And needless to say, that dude I don't think he lasted one semester. He might have done the first semester, but he was out second semester. And he was a cool dude, but don't be closed-minded like that, is my point. Be open-minded, come and be enthusiastic. And then there's a caveat, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. Be in school, see what it can do for you, how you can grow in that environment, but don't become dependent on that environment. Know what your goals are. I'm assuming your goals are to actually become an architect. That's why you're going to school. A lot of people who don't take action, they just think things. They love to sit around and think about how great their ideas are, because there's no consequence. There's no real world being like, no, that's a bad idea. No, that's going to fall down. No, we don't have enough money for that. No, that's not going to pass city council. Right? Because nobody can challenge their thoughts when you're in school. It's constant yes and happy feelings. But don't be of that. They say be in it, but don't be of it. Alright, so I hope that all makes some sense. Those are my 5 tips to becoming, my 5 tips for freshman architecture students. And so please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you are a freshman or not a freshman, or if you have any kind of tips to give to a freshman, let me know what it would be. Or if you are a freshman and you have a question, like a specific question, let me know what that is down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. And like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the video. And I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you next time.